And good morning to you once again. It's 8 o'clock and welcome to the Headline News Review. And that's where we analyze some of the stories we brought to you at 7 o'clock. And is headlines. My name is Adeyemi.
And I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey. Thank you for joining us.
And let's get right into our conversation. But please, we have certain rules on the program. If you want to call in and then you get through, please, you have a space of 1 minute to make your comment. And please make sure that the comment is devoid of anything fake news or logical fallacies. And please go straight to the point, be concise, and of course, do not insult anybody with your comments. Please also note that views expressed on any of the trending national headlines is not in any way the position of Flow FM 92.7 or the staff therein, but are solely expressed by the analysts that we have in the house this morning, Nicholas Nwaronoye, and from the listeners as well too. Good morning to you, Nicholas.
Good morning.
Let's get right into our conversation this morning.
Yeah.
All right. So you've been following the stories, and this particular one on the media chat. What are your thoughts on the president's response to the issues raised during the media chat?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, let me just congratulate Mr. President for at least taking up the culture of media chats. It used to be very popular under President Obasanjo, then followed by Goodluck Jonathan, but President Muhammadu Buhari started it. He had one episode and he ended it. So let's just hope that they will have more of this kind of a chat. But having said that, let me also add, from the point of view of most professionals, that it was just an exercise in sophistry. Those things, it was just for show. But of course, we understand there is a need for the president to come and talk, because I expected something more in depth, considering the fact that Nigeria at the economic level is facing a great deal, of hardship. There are so many issues, contending issues that are, coming up that I expected, the president, to address. And equally too, I must equally express my disappointment in some of, the kind of very patronizing questions that some of our colleagues were asking. I know some of them, so I worked with one of them, as who was my boss, at some point. I was expecting something more in-depth. I was expecting, for instance, that they will ask something about this issue of media, this cybercrime law, because a lot of journalists, have been picked up. The rev up of, attack on journalists in the country. I expected them to take on the president, because the police, as far as we are concerned, is wrongly interpreting the law. I expected something as strong as that. And even on other issues that we are going to be looking at, it's not in there. There are no follow-up questions, on the economy, on, the issue of the cabinet and so many things. So maybe by and large, as we go on, you see some of the nitty-gritties, and already responses are coming all over the places. Yeah. So, but like I said, yes, let us, even if for the sake of appearances, let us, give it to the president that he has, come out to show that, to say some things, just to allay fears that, look, what people are saying about me is not, even though, it's not true, but, in a way, in his own way, he's trying to assuage, the anxiety in the public. I give him that, and he shows that he's responsive to what people are saying.
Okay. All right. He also spoke about reducing governance. How do you think the government has fared in that regard? Now, Nigeria also, has about 48 ministers, and the president defended the size of his cabinet despite expressing willingness to reduce governance. Does the president need such amount of cabinet members to run the affairs of the nation? And as well, he claimed that every ministry is important, including the newly created livestock ministry. What's your thought on the livestock ministry?
Absolutely unnecessary. That is the simple truth. Then we must concede it to the president.
Which is unnecessary? Is it the 40 ministers or the
48?
Both of
the
them.
48 or the newly livestock ministry?
You see, look, one has to be very careful here. You see, the thing is this: it is the president is a presidential prerogative on the number of ministers he wants to have. But you see, that will be he should be judged on how effective they have been in executing their jobs. We should feel the effect of having 48 ministers, working with you, in the economy, in the way things are done. Has there been significant improvement in what we are talking about with a 46% increase in, what was it called? Inflation. job creation is the same thing. You have the rate of unemployment is greatly increasing. The rate of distress, both socially, economically, displacement is still there. You understand? So that is what should justify whether having that humongous number of ministers is justified or not. You understand? Then, of course, the livestock thing. Let us not forget, for sake of crying out loud, that there was a certain minister called Akin. Is it that is the AFDB current president of AFDB? Adeyemi, who was the agricultural minister at that time. And you saw the impact of agriculture on the economy. You understand? Both at the livestock level, in fact, this Ruga thing that they are talking about was first muted by him. He wanted to float 100 billion naira soft loans for livestock farmers, to ranch, as a way of bringing in, capturing the livestock into the economic. I have a blueprint of what they wanted to do, if Jonathan has succeeded in 2015. So it was a clear, concise. So all you just need, and Buhari said something when he was minister. He said that why do I need a minister anyway? That all they do is make noise, and the people really running the ministry are the PAMSECs. You understand? So all the president needed to do is to make sure that the parastatals are working, get the proper guys to head it, because that is where those people drive the policy. So this is my own opinion. You understand? But of course, he is there. He has all the facts. If he says he needs 48 or for even 50, even 100 minister, I don't have any problem. What I just want to see is that they are really working and Nigerians are feeling the impact. So on the basis of that, there is no justification for it based on the result we are having on ground. So that is my take on that. So if he says he wants 48, if he says he wants 50, he wants 60 ministers, I must see the result. After all, why did he phase out Ministry of Sports? Why did he phase it out? Because he saw it was not working. He relocated and he created, So there is always room for tinkering. For me, given what is happening, if this is all they can do, then I think you need to have them, have the number of ministers he has. If this is all they can do, and we are facing a bleak Christmas, we are facing skyrocketing, we are facing, intense economic situation, even in the areas of security, gross human rights abuses by, agencies of security. Come on. It doesn't justify.
If we're looking at it that way, you mentioned agricultural ministry. I'm saying like the things he's claiming that this livestock ministry is going to do, which would be, facilitating distribution, the export and processing of livestock products. Isn't it directly the same thing that the agricultural ministry is supposed to be doing?
Exactly. Exactly. That is what, it's like you are creating two bodies doing the same function. And by the way, let us even talk about this livestock thing.
All right.
In terms of cattle population, where is Nigeria? Do you know Cameroon have a larger share, larger cattle population than Nigeria? Most of these cattle that you see, they come from Nigeria. So what are you managing, really? You understand? So, you are, okay, yeah, let us keep it at that cattle level. Then the poultry, it's livestock, right?
Livestock, yeah.
So it covers,
everything.
We are talking of people are going to the market now to buy chicken. How much is chicken right
30,000.
now? Almost, 30, 25, 30,
That's the range.
That's the range that you have. So you created a livestock ministry. By December, we should have seen the effect of it in the areas of synergizing how you have a lesser cost of a feed. And don't forget, you don't forget that there was this policy on removing tariff on household items and things like that, things that are necessary for growing some of these industries. You don't have it. You don't see the impact. He hasn't even pursued that executive order he gave. So what are we talking about really? Is it the essence of a minister is to drive policies? So how well have they driven these policies when Nigerians are buying chicken for Christmas and New Year celebration, for 25,000 naira, 30,000 naira, the least you can get for a chicken, and I believe it's this old rooster thing is 20,000 naira. Yes, that is the least you can get.
That's very true.
That's the least you can get. So for a household of say like 4, that is the average, especially in the down south. You understand? Of course, it could be more. this is just my own take.
In this period, it's even like a lot of extended family come together in this
Exactly.
period. So it's not just a family of
So
four.
we are talking of 1, 2, 3 chicken. And how much is how much do you pay as a minimum wage? 70,000 naira. So we just.
But Nicholas, these are some of the challenges we believe the livestock ministry is to, to work on.
Exactly.
And then it's just barely a year and a half or thereabout. Can we give them a space of? Can we give them more room to actually look into, developing the livestock? Because again, if you look at that, what alternatives do Nigerians have other than the cow? We have cow, we have chicken. There's goats, there's ram, all of these things there. Is it not essential that there is truly a ministry that caters and looks into that part of agriculture?
My brother, see, on the first issue you raised, that giving them time, you see, we should stop indulging very indolent people who have no ideas, who just came in perhaps to fulfill one quota or the other, or a political IOU. See, let me give you a very good example of what it means to have capacity. In 2012, there was a flooding that threatened farming. If you go back in history, that thing was because I was in Tell magazine at that time, and I was on the field. I did a survey, and the situation was so bleak. It was clear there was going to be famine. But what did that minister we mentioned, Akinwumi, what did he do? He started, that is dry season farming. With that flooding, that flooding incident, they rolled out rice paddies. And do you know what? Apart from the fact that there wasn't any famine, food was reduced by December. That is, cost of food items were reduced. The indices are there. That is what one person did within 6 months. So you created a livestock ministry, and within 1 year, we haven't. How long does it take to raise a chicken? Broiler, 3-6 months. You have a fully mature chicken. So why are we having this problem? So you see, then of course you talked about goat rearing, duck. So many. The thing is, so I should have seen policies. What we are still seeing is the old ways of doing things. There is no change whatsoever. That is the point. You see, I expected that, okay, a livestock ministry will look at how do I synergize, from farm products into making feeds for livestock, then subsidizing it, creating distribution channel, working with people who are associations, within to formulate a policies. Let us see a movement. There is no movement whatsoever. I only hear it in name. I don't see any sign. You understand? These livestock rearers they are neighbors. We see them now, don't we? So what you see here is the same old complaint about how cost of feeds, the cost of vaccinating their livestock and the rest of them. Then even getting the chicks and all the baby is it chicks for piglets and the rest of them is still prohibitive. That is my point. And that is what we really need to work on. You understand? So, we're saying that he knows that they can deliver and they are effectively working at it. That is sophistry. That is politics. He's talking politics. We are talking the reality on ground. With due respect to Mr. President.
All right. Again, let's still on the media chart though, because the president made a lot of statements and that Nigerians are really interested in. Again, it says he has no regrets removing the fuel subsidy. That it was something that he was very resolute on, and there's no regret for it.
Well, the president is free to say whatever he wants to, considering the fact that he initiated this thing. But what he evaded to tell people is that when he says subsidies is as good as gone, we must equally forget that he still continues subsidizing the fuel, the petrol. He still continues subsidizing it. So, but this is where I will blame those who asked that question. You understand? Because there should have been follow-up. This follow-up about, okay, you said subsidy was as good as gone, you have removed it, but indications shows that you continue subsidizing, especially in the area of equalization, of the pricing system. So, it's not like a political talk. Economy is about figures. You see the figures and you know there is certainly no way. Now, that vis-a-vis the alternative that could have been done, which is that a gradual phasing out of that subsidy regime.
All right, so Nicholas, please hold on. Let's get this going. Hello, good morning.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is the Near Headline News Review. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
From Kwara State.
Where in Kwara are you calling us from this morning?
In Oluyale.
What's your name again, please? Register your name so you can make your contribution. All right, please try and connect back if you can. 0807 777 9927. This is the Headline News Review, and this is where we analyze some of the national trending stories with Nicholas Onwerunoye. You can also join the conversation at any point, but please make sure you have, you turn down the volume of your radio and then you speak loudly, speak into your phone so Nigerians can have and enjoy your contributions. Nicholas, please continue.
When you look at, there was an alternative that is gradually phasing out the subsidy. Within that period, you put things in place, so as to, like fixing the refinery, for instance, the Port Harcourt refinery, which is already having problem as we speak. In fact, their fuel production capacity is having problem. What they do, rather than using, the normal process, is like they do what they call cracking. It is more tedious, it is more expensive. You understand? So that was not in place. Dangote was not yet in place. You just remove the subsidy, to remove the shock from the economy. So that is what resulted in the kind of hardship that we are seeing. So if he says he doesn't have any regret at the policy level, fine. But we have great deal of regret because at the end of the day, we are the receiving end.
All right. Before we get into another of the news stories, we are also streaming on YouTube and on Facebook at this time, and that's on Facebook at FloFMNG and on YouTube at FloFM927. All right. Another statement that the president made was concerning the stampede that happened, in Ibadan, in Anambra and Abuja as well. And he is saying that the organizers are responsible. He blamed the organizers for the recent stampede. And people are saying he's neglecting the impact of the economic situation and poverty that is bedeviling Nigerians. And he's just, concentrating on blaming the organizers.
Yeah, I don't blame.
We had the conversation yesterday. Yes.
Yeah, I don't blame him for saying that. I said it here that I have my reservation for the way they've been, the organizers have been responding to the issue, especially Hamzat, the Agidigbo guy, but the president will definitely put the blame on the organizer, because not putting the blame on the organizer is to admit that his economic policies are failing, that there is hunger in the land, and let us equally not, I'm saying this because, the bigger problem that led to that stampede is the economic situation. Like I keep on saying, rationality ends where hunger begins. The moment there is hunger, you understand, this need for safety and the rest of them is relegated to the background. That is why you see anytime there is a tanker, carrying fuel, capsizes on the highway, you see a lot of people rushing over there to go and take fuel for free, not minding the dangers involved. And before you know what's happening, you have an inferno, close to 100 people just die. You understand? So it is the economic situation that forces that act of desperation on people, But you see, that coming from the president, for me, I think is insensitive, because it's like he's trying to deny that Nigerians are facing hardship. Yes, it is okay when people like us, when people, the ordinary man on the street, says that there is a need for them to answer for what they have done, they didn't put the proper. It's okay for them to say that, but when the president deliberately ignores the issue of economic in this instance, I think there is a need to say that, Mr. President, yes, while I agree with you, there is equally the problem of economy that you need to address.
Well, the president, most of the conversation would definitely be on the media chart. The president also condemned the statements of Peter Obi and them saying that he's trying to politicize the whole situation and all of these things. Is it what the president should have? Is it a statement the president should have made?
You see, there's something about Mr. Tinubu, the president, if I may call him that is rather disturbing.
Well, you should refer to him as His Excellency, the President.
Okay. Well, he's His Excellency, Mr. President. Okay, if that is okay. But you see, there is something about the way they tackle opposition that is very, very strange and really saddening. Really, look at what Peter Obi said. It has always been about, you will notice that the man has always been very, very moderate in what he says. What Peter Obi said is that there is no need criminalizing, the act of goodwill. He was responding to the arrest of Naomi. You understand? And that it was an act of goodwill that resulted in that thing, that we need not. Of course, I have spoken here that I disagree, with that thing, that there is a need to ask her questions to prove her. You understand? There is a need for accountability because lives were lost, and we are not just talking of lives; we are talking of minors. You understand? So let us not. He has always, and where commendations are necessary, he has always in the past made it. You understand? Saying if there is anybody that should be blamed for politicizing things like this, it should be APC. Because we remember in when you had that stampede and the immigration stampede, the opposition party made a meal of that thing. Nobody blamed them because they raised cogent issues. So when it happens now and you have opposition, the role you were playing in in erstwhile years, if you have that same reversal, I expect a more mature response. That this is what you should expect. That oppositions will make things like this. So you see, this culture of, I expected that he's been in the opposition for several years. He knows what it means when the ruling party rules on you. So he should talk from that. Mr. President should talk from that perspective, from that position that, look, I have been here before. I know when it's like when the power is not in your hands and you tend to make your contribution and people tend to, misinterpret and say it's, it's all politicking. No. This is my position. I think that at this level, Mr. President is a very, very experienced politician. He has been outside of power, that is, he's been in opposition, and now so he has the benefit of experience. So he sees both worlds. So I think he has the power, he has everything to change the trajectory of how we do political engagement in this country. And I expect more from him.
Let's quickly squeeze this one in because of time. I apologize. The Reading All Progressives Congress and major opposition parties in the country disagreed over the humongous 27 billion naira voted by the federal government for entitlement of former president, vice presidents, heads of state, chief of staff, retired heads of service, and professors in the 2025 fiscal year. What the opposition is saying is a lot of Nigerians need that money. Exactly. Again, these are people that have committed long years of service to the country. Don't they deserve it, or they don't deserve it?
Yeah, they deserve some measure of pension. But you see, let us just take several steps back. It's not as if these people are not comfortable. Let us be very, very fair to ourselves. Okay. Now, have you recalled that some state governments are repealing the pension to state government? They are repealing it. So in the spirit of that, can't they make that same sacrifice? Can that kind of sacrifice continue?
But it's more or less like the service and then the reward for the service. Taking a look at the United States, for example.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you are aware of what is also budgeted for ex-presidents in the United States and how much of an entitlement they get when they leave office.
But you see, the point is, we are not United States. We are not even there yet. Now, we are talking of these same people that have used, without meaning to, cast aspersion on anybody. Look at the kind of life they live outside office, after office. Is it like the average life of the ordinary Nigerian that you see? A PAMSEC, a director that retired. Are we saying that level? Is this the same level of affluence? Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be given something for service, but we are talking of close to 27 billion. How much are we talking about?
27 billion.
27 billion. For me, it is not a priority, and I absolutely agree with them on that. Now, if even in Kwara State here, you have issues, on that state government pension that had to be reviewed by the current governor. You understand? You have it in so many places. People reviewing, the pension that was put there in, when governor, some people were in office, they send, a humongous amount to themselves when they leave office. Their successor came in and repealed it. In the spirit of what is on ground, the economic situation in the state. So if that can happen at the state level, I expect the federal government to do the same thing too. In fact, bringing that up about this time when you're saying you are managing, you are cutting costs, no, please. I absolutely agree with the opposition party on that.
All right, thank you, Nicholas. Well, again, I'm still on the conversation. Do you also feel that do we take into account the numbers that we have, permanent secretaries, even including professors?
Mm-hmm.
The professors are also included in all of these things.
Okay. Now, professors and the rest of it. Don't let's. I saw their statement. Their statement had to do with all these political office holders, appointed, public office holders mainly. That is where my concern is. But for professors and the rest of them, these people deserve whatever they get. Because professors, directors, PAMSEC and the rest of them, they have given numbers of years in service. We are talking of people who have put in the better part of their life serving their country.
So you're saying yes, let's give them
that
a
is
measure,
okay.
but 27 billion is a
No. I think it's a combination of both chief of staff and the rest of them. That is but my particular concern is paying a former chief of staff to the president, former minister or who and the former president.
No, ministers are not.
Okay. Former chief of staff, president,
and then vice president,
vice president,
professors.
Professors are okay. No, I mean whatever you give a professor. Do you know what it takes to be a professor? How many years he would have put in? No, please,
Nicholas. Well, time will not permit us to just really
further.
continue this conversation. But we thank you for your views, and we thank you so much for coming. The views expressed on the program and by the analyst is not in any way the position of Flow FM, but solely expressed by the analyst Nicholas Nwarunoye. Thank you for this morning. We'll be back tomorrow. My name is Adeyemi.
And I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey. Thank you for